Items from the audience regarding anything on the agenda. Just a reminder, everybody, you have 3 minutes, and let's please just keep it to that.
A week ago today, a letter was submitted to Gordon Bosa, the lawyer of the board, in hopes that the board would come to the table and have a discussion with the Polston Public Group regarding this issue. We've had no response, and we're saddened by that. We wanted to, just one last time, we're going to read the letter tonight so that it's on public record, and hope that it might bring some response from Mr. Board. Dear Mr. Bosa, this office and I have been asked to convey the following information to the Board of Education for Alamosa School District RE11J. This information is conveyed on behalf of Keep Polston Public and several individuals who have been active in the Healthy Living Park project. On May 9, 2013, the board publicly announced its decision to sell the Polston tract to Dan Russell in his capacity as a private party. This decision was made despite the fact that the board had a lengthy working relationship with and commitment to the members of the Alamosa community and the Trust for Public Lands to develop a healthy living park on the Polston tract. Relying on this relationship and the board's assurances, the community and TPL paid for 1/2 the cost of the real estate appraisal for the Polston tract, enlisted the support of others for the park, and engaged in other undertakings. Then at the 11th hour, when the board had all but deeded the Polston tract to the TPL, Russell submitted an offer to purchase the Polston tract for a sum of $255,000 below the amount offered by TPL and its appraised value of $755,000. Since the board's decision was announced, there has been a public outcry against the decision and in support of the park. The public outcry coalesced into the formation of Keep Polston Public. Keep Polston Public has circulated petitions and hosted public meetings in an effort to gauge the community's mood about the putative sale. Citizens have sent letters to the editor of the Alamosa Valley Courier and disseminated literature about the sale in both hard copy and on the internet. KPP and supporters of the park have formulated a principled strategy aimed at nullification of the board's flawed decision-making process and quieting the disharmony cast upon the community by the board's heedless and illegal decision.
So, Alexander Pivotone, when we continue on. The board appears to be caught on the horns of a dilemma of its own creation. It has a problematic contract with Russell, and the pro-park sector is mobilizing itself to mount a legal challenge to the sale. The task at hand for all parties is 1, try and resolve this dilemma without causing a bigger rift in the community. 2, stanch the expenditure of scarce public and private resources on a protracted legal contest. And 3, formulate an acceptable outcome for all stakeholders. The immediate and visceral reaction to the board's decision has been one of dismay, disgust, and disappointment. How could the board sell attractive land appraised at $755,000 for $500,000? This action is even more egregious in light of the fact that TPL had a standing offer to purchase the tract for the full appraised value and had tendered an option to purchase to the board. On its face, the Russell sale violates Article 11, Section 2 of the Colorado Constitution. The constitutional prohibition against donations and grants is absolute and admits only a very limited public purpose exception, which we might add does not include speculative ventures replete with contingencies and speculative hopes such as those underlying the board's de facto donation to Russell. Information made available to the public fails to disclose a formal board finding that the Polston tract is not needed for any purpose authorized by law. This flawed process invalidates the sale. The board also failed to adequately analyze its speculative declaration and presumption that somehow there would be a tax revenue benefit to the school district by selling the Polston tract to Russell. There was likewise no adequate analysis of the economic benefit or land use advantage to the public by selling Polston to Russell. Clouding the board's acceptance to the Russell offer are 2 additional actions by the board. The Polston tract and/or Russell's offer appear nowhere on the board's May 2nd, 2013 agenda released to the public. The board's minutes for that meeting do not indicate that the agenda was amended during the meeting so as to include the Polston tract and/or Russell offer on the agenda. However, the minutes reflect that the Russell offer was entertained even though the public... Thank you.
However, the minutes reflect that the Russell offer was entertained even though the public had not been notified, thereby negating its right of public comment and participation. This failure to notify was unlawful and done in callous disregard of the fact that the board was well aware of great public interest in the sale of the Polston tract. The insult to the community was compounded when the board announced its decision to accept the Russell offer during the special meeting held in the early morning of the 9th of May 2013. Shortly after the decision was made, Board Treasurer Keith Vance publicly stated that the sale contract contained numerous contingencies and conditions intended to ensure that Russell complied with his representations to the board. However, the documents made available to the public by the board are silent on the matter of contingencies and conditions other than those customarily found in standard contracts to buy and sell real estate. If such conditions and contingencies are found elsewhere, the board has not seen fit to make them public. The board's conduct in this regard serves to further undermine the public's lack of confidence in a board already besieged by a storm of controversy on this and other issues. Furthermore, the board's raison d'etre is to provide for public education. The board's primary and only responsibility is the public education of the district's students. The board members have fiduciary duties to the students and the school district. It has no responsibility to the business community, economic development boosters, or land use planners. Those functions are the bailiwick of other governmental entities. As a public entity with limited duties and responsibilities, the board transgressed its legal and fiduciary duties when it alienated the Polston Tract. It abdicated its fiduciary duties and sacrificed the financial interests of its students and the school district by embracing the banner of economic development, a goal unrelated to its purpose and outside of its competencies and expertise. Keith Vance has written a letter citing economic development as a benefit justifying the sale to Russell for $255,000 less than the appraised value, which TPL was prepared to pay. None of the assurances offered by Russell to support those economic development benefits were made conditions in his contract, and moreover, Russell has made clear in discussions with Polston Public.
Moreover, Russell has made clear in discussions with Keith Polston Public that he feels in no way bound by the representations he made to the board about the use of the Polston Tract or his economic development proposals. Given what we have learned about the manner in which the board went about accepting the Russell offer during an executive session and then rubber stamping that decision during a public session, we believe the Colorado Open Meetings Law was violated. It was obvious during the public session that the outcome was a foregone conclusion. All that remained was the formality of a public vote. There was no substance to the public session. The decision had already been reached during the executive session. Once the executive session records are disclosed, we believe our position will be confirmed. Finally, we bring to your attention the appearance, if not the fact, that there were undisclosed conflicts of interest by members of the board when they entertained and voted on the Russell offer. Some board members conduct regular business with Russell in either his private or public capacity. Russell has a familial relationship with at least one board member that was not disclosed. The board's dealings with Russell were kept secret until the last minute. This appearance of conflict or of conflict, in fact, has the same effect on the public, a belief that the Good Old Boys Network is serving its own interests and not that the public as elected officials are sworn to do. Given all the shortcomings discussed in this letter, we believe that a court will likely find that the board's acceptance of the Russell offer is the result of a flawed process, a breach of its fiduciary duty to provide for public education and an outrageous conduct. In conclusion, we are aware that you were not present. We are aware that you were not present at the board sessions when the board accepted the Russell offer, and this is a letter to Boza. What you might have counseled the board at the time is now moot, but it's not too late for the board to reconsider the flawed process by which it reached its result, nor is it too late for the board to reconcile with the community for its breach of etiquette and insults. On behalf of KPP and supporters of the Healthy Living Park, we propose that the board that a format be established by all stakeholders with the objective of reaching a solution to the Polston problem, a solution that, while not perfect, will spare everyone, public entities and private parties alike, the expense, social costs, and time that will be consumed by this contentious and protracted legal and political contest. As things stand, the board sale of the Polston Tract to Russell is headed for a long and disruptive litigation. As a matter of fact, it's going in tomorrow, and we don't want to do that. That's sideline. There remains, however, a possibility of settlement, which could be accepted by all parties. The Polston Tract is large enough to serve both the needs of the proposed Healthy Living Park and the RV Park for Dan Russell, if that ultimately proves economically feasible.
Perhaps the school board can yet save the situation by being proactive in supporting a balanced statement. In closing, we ask that the board be advised it should take reasonable steps to preserve hard copies and/or electronic files of all documents, communications, and things related to this issue in order to avoid violation of evidence issues, and that this office be notified in the event Mr. Russell exercises his option to accelerate the closing date of the sale by giving 10 days advance notice to the board. For the settlement option to be realistic at this time, we need you to confirm a commitment to go this route before the end of June 2013. Thank you in advance for your kind and prompt attention. And what I want to say, I'm an instructor. My name is Diana Jones. I'm an instructor of remedial math at Adams State University. As I'm sure you all know, 75% of the graduates of Alamosa High School that go on to post-secondary education have to take at least one remedial class in either reading, writing, or math. And I believe that $255,000 economic development grant that you gave to Dan Russell can be better used to serve the direct educational needs of our students.
Hello, I'm Trudy Kretzinger. It's my understanding that the land on which Polston and before that Eastside Elementary stood was given to the Alamosa School District by the Maddox family for the purpose of educational purposes. Unfortunately, I believe that what's being taught there now, what's being learned, the lessons learned on that Polston property are lessons in unethical business practices. That's my belief. And that I believe that it could be used for teaching us how to live in the future. And I forgot what else I was going to say. This is incredibly important to a whole lot of people. I understand it's important on both sides. And I appreciate your hearing all of us. Thank you.
Julie Wechter.
Yes, I stand like everyone else. I'm Julie Wechter. I have comments both on the Polston issue and on the passing period issue that's going to be before you. I agree and support the letter that was read. If nothing else, things don't look very good for the board because of a lot of the inconsistencies that were brought up in the letter. Had Russell's offer exceeded that of the Healthy Living Park, I don't know that anybody would be able to argue with it, but raised a lot of questions, so all those issues stand before we can get into the merits of either use of the property. Although I do believe, and I speak for many other people in the district, that the Healthy Living Park would serve the broader interests of the community better, and would also put some very much needed cash in here for the district.
My name is Ruthie Brown, and you guys have had a really tough decision. I, for one, it's been very hard for me to take the stance I am because I have a garden center, my husband and I do. However, I also look at downtown Alamosa as a business community. And when I watch 4 stores close their doors in the last 2 months when they should be going into their busy season, that tells me something's wrong. I get lots of tourists in my store, and I don't suck them dry. I treat them with respect. I welcome them. I tell them to go to Creed and Stations of the Cross and every place else in the valley. I've met tourists from Northern California who 2 weeks previously had sat with my sister on her best friend's porch just by being friendly and talking to them. I don't suck them dry. I appreciate them every single day. I've talked to golfers who want to move to Alamosa because of the golfing potential. I'm not a golfer, so I don't understand chasing a little white ball around, but they do. I've known Dan and Carol for 30 years. I would trust them with my children and my grandchildren. They will do a great job, and they will make that site beautiful. Beyond that, the businesses, the business community that I have talked to, and I don't represent them formally, but Carlucci's, the Bistro, Van Giesen Construction, Tucker Construction, the Brew Pub, Atencio's Market, Colorado Sports, Stuff Antiques, the Rio Grande Scenic Railroad, Oscars, Treasure Alley, Sports Print Plus, the Green Spot, and R&L Enterprises, my husband's business. We all believe we need something in Alamosa to keep us going, and we do believe that Dan and Carol offer Alamosa something huge. I've seen the Healthy Living Park plans, and they're beautiful, you know, and they offer a lot of things, but in my years of doing landscaping and for the school, for the college, I've never seen a finished product look like the architectural rendering.
That we progressed with our due diligence as we promised that we would, and everything looks very promising from our standpoint. The economic impact to the community is better than we proposed. Regardless of what you read or see, we are ethical. I'm committed to this project. I haven't misled anybody. I haven't done anything that would have any of you doubt our intention. We're misquoted sometimes and certainly portrayed as bad people, but this project is very viable, very possible for the community. We've worked with 2 consultants. Both of them think the site is ideal for it, and I think the community is more than capable of supporting it, and that it will be a positive impact. I've tried to work with the garden group or the Healthy Living Park group to find some alternatives and some alternative sites and some possible compromises. We haven't reached that. I wish that we had. And it's not that we're not willing to still talk to them, but we are. But we are committed to moving forward with this project. And I appreciate your consideration of this. I think that the school board made the right decision. And I think we will make an attractive resort for the community. Thank you.
That's all.
I'm a solid supporter of the community gardens. People just well know that. Support what they stand for, and we work together through the years, through the schools, and even personal gardens. Because I've got the equipment, the tractors, and it mostly entails ground preparation. Things that would be hard for them to do, but I can do, and willingly. So I know what I like to describe what I like to see. And it's just as important as anybody else's. To continue this learning center that's been there, who knows how long. My mother went to school there, I went to school there, kids all went to school there. My wife taught school there. Why can't we continue that learning process? Through the ag department. You have ag department here. They could be over there. And I stand before you. I would mentor that, offer myself to make sure that happened. A section of it, I don't know what portion would be adequate. 2 acres, 5 acres. I can just see them kids out there competing against one another. They can, grow the tallest corn, most potatoes, and they try different irrigation techniques, the drip system or furrow irrigation or sprinkler. And actually the school, that food could actually go back into the school through their food department. Wouldn't that be a hoot? I can see that. Yeah, we grew this, we did that. And there'd be competition among the little groups. And that would just be one portion of it. I can see, of course, the community gardens, they entail so many other factions. And hell, I even threw in some extra ones. Senior citizens. I mean, they could have their own garden out there. How about handicap? Blue Peaks kids, La Puente. I could even go a little farther. Inmates, inmates out there. Correction kids. I mean, it'd be a great learning facility right there. There can't be another, there's not a better place than that. The location, the soil, the water, the access, it's protected right there. The size of it is unique. And where the old building sites are, I mean, yeah, you can't put a garden there, but you can put a greenhouse. You can put raised beds. You could even have a veggie stand. I can see a veggie stand there. Start out with a tent, maybe porta potties, tents, and eventually you get a decent building and playground. Saturday morning, farmer's market. I mean, that thing would be alive. Farmer's market. And it would affect so many people. And it would be somebody proud. If you drove by, you'd be proud. I'd make sure of that. That's why I offer myself. I'm 70 years old. If that got anything to do with it. Offer my expertise, equipment, whatever it takes. And if I need help, you'd be surprised what a farmer will do for another farmer. You can ask a farmer, you might get a lukewarm response, but I ask another farmer, he's there, whatever you need, equipment. I could call Tim Gallagher right now. I need a 2-year-old potato plant. You find him. Jim Heigl or Art Gale, any of them, any of these dealers around. Seed. There's so much that's available there to make it work. But it's going to take time. So, I rattled down here pretty good. So in closing, yeah, this little article here by John Salazar, that's in the paper here, June 7th. Read it. Yeah, support your local ag. Why not? Can't go wrong. Support ag. That's all.
Conversations, excuse me, conversations is a segue into the number 2 item. A required document is a resolution for the sale of Polston property. As referenced already this evening, the board did approve by a 6-1 vote to approve the sale of Polston property to Mr. Dan Russell the morning of May 9th. This resolution that's in your board packet that I'm respectfully asking you to act on this evening will be provided to the title company for additional paperwork.
Can I make a statement first? Okay. You know, I was the 1 vote last time, and I really haven't changed my mind, and these are the reasons. I certainly believe that Mr. Russell's a man of integrity. I respect him, but I don't feel the school district is in the business of subsidizing private business, and I believe that that is what we're doing to the tune of $255,000. As a result, I feel this last whereas, where it states the Board of Education believes that this transaction is in the very best interest of the school district, is not a correct statement. And I just I have a problem with that.
I've been torn on this issue from the beginning. I wish we could have both. I think.
Come to the table. Come to the table. Make them come to the table.
You can. But the fact of the matter is, you know, Mr. Russell showed up with an offer. And he showed up with not just a possibility of $750,000 in 12 months, but almost cash in the barrelhead. And I hear Ruthie Brown. And I hear, you know, struggling parents with children in our district that need support so that they can continue to live here and they can continue to support our district. I'm truly torn. I always have been. These are both very good projects and have very good potential for Alamosa and the school district.
Make a motion to approve the resolution to sell the Polston property.
I second.
Okay, roll call, please.
De Herrera?
Aye.
Hammer?
No.
Haslett,
Aye.
Romero,
Aye.
Vance,
Aye.
Van Giesen,
Aye.
Van Ryn,
Aye.